sounds
Welcome
good.
to our podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons. I'm Kevin Henry, and my partner in crime in life is Palmi Henry. I have a rare disease known as spinal cerebellar ataxia, which is a neuromuscular disease. This has left me mobility challenges as well as with a speech impediment and noise-induced anxiety.
Living with these disabilities for over 20 years, we have developed helpful hints and life lessons that we would like to share with you that has made our life easier and possible in some cases. We consider ourselves disability advocates and intend to educate ourselves and you about other disabilities and issues, and also talk about things we find interesting and frequently encounter when we're out and about. Portions of this podcast we recorded in Antarctica, as you can hear later, and next, near Big Ben in London. Hey, welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Palmi, and welcome back, listeners, to our podcast, When Life Gives You Lemons. What are we talking about today, Palmi?
So, Kevin, we have a pessimist and an optimist here in this house, along with every house, I'm sure. You tend to be the pessimist. And so last week we talked about how expensive it is to be disabled. And this week I thought we'd go on a different path and talk about some free stuff for adults with disabilities that you might be eligible for. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea.
So, as we all know, there's a lot of benefits for children who are disabled, companies out there and stuff like that. But when you go to search for adult stuff, it's harder. And overall, there is probably more adults that are disabled than children in most cases. So let's start off with scholarships. Kevin, you went to college.
Yes, I did.
And you did that through the military.
Yes, I did.
And did that cost you anything?
Yeah. Are you talking about
tuition?
After I retired or before I retired?
I guess both.
Before I retired, I had to pay out of my own pocket, and they gave me a reduced cost for tuition.
Because you're military?
And of course, I had to go at night.
Yeah, because you were in the military.
Yes.
And now you just happen to be in that group that it was just before the student where the military started paying for college tuitions, correct?
It's all different at different branches. Like with Navy, they pay nothing. And they fly instructors out ships.
For tutoring?
No, not for tutoring, to give the classes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah. But what is it in the military? You just get a discount.
In the Army, you just get a discount.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. In the
I'm
Army.
not sure what they do in other services.
Okay.
I just happen to know that fact about the Navy because my last assignment, I worked with a lot of Navy guys.
Oh, didn't know that. So there is a resource out there. It's called JLV Counseling Clearinghouse for Scholarships for People with Disabilities. And it will provide a comprehensive list of scholarships that are available. And it's categorized by your disability. So if you chose to go back to school, because you got an associate's, so if you chose to go back to school, you could go on this website and see if there was a disability discount or scholarship based on cerebellum ataxia.
Correct.
Yeah.
Once I retired and was disabled, the VA, I went to free VA courses, but they're all like just stuff I was interested in. They didn't want me to pursue a degree.
So I'm looking at the website now, and there is categories. Like I said, there's categories by your disability. So there's general disability scholarship, that's open to students with all disabilities. And then there's scholarships open to students that their close relative or caretaker are available for. There's also scholarships open to persons with learning disabilities or cognitive disabilities. And then there's also some with mental health conditions, deaf and hard of hearing, visual impairment scholarships. So there's quite a few just at the very top here that a lot of people would be qualified for. Something to look into if we want to advance our education.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one would be, it's called Ruby's Rainbow. And it is basically a scholarship. You can receive $1,000 to $10,000 per academic year. And it's for intellectual disabilities to attend higher education. So I didn't know that was out there. Did you?
No, it did not.
Next one is, this would be more for basically any disability. It's the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. It's the point of it is to help people with disability find and keep jobs that suit them. If you need higher education in order to find that or keep that job that suits you, then that's where they would you would sit down and get grants and stuff like that.
All right, super.
The next point probably would be the financial aid from your local university that you want to attend this additional education for. You can sit down with a financial counselor and request information regarding grants, scholarships, and opportunities related to the disability. Or you can meet with the disability services at your local university, or meet a career counselor who works with disability services at your local university and request for information.
One thing I want to add to that is you don't necessarily have to look just at your local university. A lot of universities nowadays, because of our past experience with online learning during the pandemic, have online capabilities. And for example, if I were to talk to my local university here, which would be Southeast Missouri, they kind of mix and match. Some are online, some are not.
Classes, you mean?
Classes,
okay.
Correct. If I were to go to, say, a strictly online university like University of Phoenix, they do everything online, and they're used to dealing with everybody from everywhere. So
with all kinds of disabilities,
right?
Practical disabilities, and then you don't have to deal with the transportation issue,
right? And there's some universities like I think it's Purdue University that is actually a university you've heard of, and through their experiences with online learning, they just never did away with their online learning capabilities. So their financial aid counselors are used to the tuition rates and how this applies to people who are not residents of a certain state, but have a disability.
Right. And then, so let's talk about, that's education. But also, I'd like to point out that you don't have to go to a university necessarily. There are other things places that you can go that are, what is it? I'm trying to think of.
Oh, sure. You can, some educational institutions kind of make a name for themselves, being specialized in certain educational tracks, if you will. Like when you think of medical schools, you think of the Harvard School of Medicine. I don't know if they do anything online, but is that what you're talking about?
No, I was thinking more vocational versus education, university type thing.
Oh, yeah. Most of the vocational institutions have out-of-state students and may or may not have, depending on what vocation you're talking about, may have an online course or two to take.
Right, yeah. All right, let's talk about financial planning, which is very important when you're disabled. A lot of times, like we talked before, you go from one household or two-income household to one income household. So it's important to plan again, that money that you are receiving from either SSI or SSDI. There is a place called ABLE, ABLE account, and this is where you can save money in an account that will not go against your SSI or SDI, which I was never aware of. We need to. A lot of times, a lot of the fact that Kevin isn't working is because he can't make so much money over, or he'll lose his Social Security benefits and stuff like that. So that might be something we could look into.
Yeah, it could be. I also want to bring up that one little trivia point I was telling you before, that if a program has a built-in cost of living increase, they have to wait for the Social Security Administration to announce what their cost of living increase will be for the year, and everybody has to go off those numbers. As we all know, costs have gone up a lot in the last year, just across the board, some more than others. And so we're expecting to see a larger than normal cost of living increase to kind of offset some of those costs. But we won't really know that for sure until Social Security Administration announces their cost of living increase. Everything else you hear right now is a guess.
So that leads us into our next resource, which is called the Red Book. And that is the Red Book is the Social Security annual book on benefits. And in there, it will tell you what the income increase was sat at, based, like you said, by the Social Security Department.
Correct. But if you look at that now, you're going to get last year's cost of living increase.
Right. Yeah. You have to wait until the first of the year.
New one. Yeah.
So we will provide a link below for to provide the PDF for the book. So in January or whatever time you need it for a resource, it'll be there for you. You can print it out and have it in book form. I think it's every other year we get an actual book from the Social Security Department, and it is red. I never knew it was called the Red Book, but I just file it in my files. Guess we should maybe look at that. So the third resource for financial assistance planning is Disability Benefits 101. And these are tools and information on employment, healthcare coverage, and benefits. But not all states are set up for the calculator. But the World Institute of Disability has a lot of information on financial planning and benefits. So check out their book, and we'll have that in the link also, and resources. There's also a financial assistance. It's called the PASS, PASS plans. It's a plan for achieving self-support, allowing persons with disabilities to set aside otherwise countable income or resources for a specific amount of time in order to achieve a work goal. Any person who receives SSI benefits or who might be qualified for SSI, or any persons receiving SSDI can and could qualify for this and may be able to have a PASS. There is no limit to the number of successful PASS plans a person may use in his lifetime. So that might be something we could look into too.
Cool.
And then let's go on to the next list, more fun things, travel. So I think I did know this, but I wasn't clear on how it worked. The National Park Services provide free lifetime passes to U.S. national parks and more. And there are some requirements and stipulations. So read through the application, which we're going to have linked below. So you get to go into free national parks. I know museums do that also. And then state parks provided disability discount. So each state would be different, and we'll have that link below. California is linked here. Let's take a look at it.
We're not going to link state programs.
Not state, yeah. Just
because they're way,
financial.
50 of each. So I'm going to assume they're all wildly different.
You can look into it based on your state.
Yeah. Where you live, you can look into it.
There is a Disney disability pass, but it is changing and has changed in the past because of abuse. But they still do help adults with disabilities at the parks. So we travel a lot, and we've mentioned Accessibility Go as a website that we use to check different resource or hotels and motels and Airbnbs and stuff like that to see that they're going to work for us. But there's also one called MIUSA, and it's a Mobility International. These guys help you work out your plan for traveling abroad, financial resources, etc. And they have a really fantastic website. We'll have to go and check that out. They have staffs that you contact with more direct and travel-specific questions. And they have information for Americans going abroad, and that would also be included with the disabilities. There's also a place called the Foundation Center. The Search Foundations you're allowed to apply for funds. So if you're poor or remember to look at different intersections. So not only may you be disabled, but you might be poor or a female or a racial minority or LGBTQ, and search under these groups as well for information regarding you. Transition Abroad is a website for living and working people abroad. And then there's specifically a place called Dave's ESL Cafe that provides opportunities for free ways to travel and to work jobs while you're traveling. And of course, don't forget about Google. Just search, how can I get free travel? And you might lead to some really good and decent articles. Next, we're going to talk about medical.
Okay.
G. Shea Lott Quality of Life grants work to help American citizens with severe mobility limitations maintain helpful, purposeful, and engaged lives by providing some financial support for medical necessary home health care services not covered by insurance, private or governmental, and not covered by any other nonprofit organizations. That would be something we should have looked into for the conversion van.
Right.
If we had known about it.
Well, for those that are interested, there is a series of videos on how another lady had actually got a state grant for her conversion van.
Right.
Not just we went through the VA, who denied their claim for this, by the way. And they would pay for part of it, whereas hers was for the whole shebang. You
mean that they only pay for part of it, even if you're accepted, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Now, word of warning: she does live in Michigan, so those might be better state laws than the rest of us have advantage to.
I doubt it.
But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and link her video. The downside of that is it took her like a long time, like 2 to 3 years worth of paperwork.
Well, we waited almost 18 months to figure out that we were denied. So I think all paperwork
And then
type
once
requests.
we got denied, it's like,
We couldn't understand.
When you have a denial letter that begins with congratulations,
It's a little
it's like
confusing.
a little, yeah. Were we really denied?
Yeah.
Or are we reading this totally wrong?
We were reading it wrong.
You know, we read the first word, congratulations, and said, oh, it's got to be good news in here somewhere. But I failed to see any.
We had to go to the VA for an interpretation.
Yeah, we're stupid like that.
So the next medical help, of course, everybody's pretty aware of this, is Medicaid. It's a full range of benefits. Sometimes that goes overlooked. They pay for changes in your house so it can be more accessible. Sometimes they offer rides to appointments, a reimbursement for travel to appointments, and a caseworker who can contact directly and an in-home caretaker hours. So I would say we looked into this for my dad, and you pretty much have to have no income. So
And no assets.
and no assets too. So you this is on the lower end of it. I think not very many people will
Medicaid is driven by states, so it's going to vary by
your state that you live in. Yeah. Easter seals. I never thought of this. So the site is so vague and huge. It might evidently, though they can be useful. You can supposedly find the branch office close to you and see what they are able to offer you. So not much more information on that than you probably have to go to your local Easter Seals and see what they provide. Another medical thing is re-equipped. And this is use medical equipment for free or without hassle from the insurance. So we kind of have that in our area. We used it for my dad, and we use it sometimes for Kevin too, when he changes out of a wheelchair or he's short term in one chair versus another chair. And that's a local company, Sadie. Here it's what does that stand for, Kev?
Southeast Missouri Alliance for Independence.
Right.
Disability Independence. Sorry.
Right. So there might be a local something that you can go to. They have a closet, what they call a closet. It's not really a closet. It's an entire room filled with equipment. So you can pretty much pick what you want.
Again, that all depends on what state you live in.
Right. Actually, that'd be more city-wise, I think.
No, that's a state program.
Yeah.
You get state funds.
Yeah. But it
just happened to cover our area of Missouri.
Right.
Southeast
It was very
Missouri.
helpful. Assistance in technology. So we talked about this, the Department of Rehabilitation provides equipment. Say you need a speech device in order to go to school, so you can train. It'll also consider paying for your device and your tuition if it's not covered by financial aid. So it's they also provide iPads, Skype, online learning, and there's a bunch of other stuff. So if you want to look on we'll have that link on the show notes also.
Okay, next you have assistive technology. What do you specifically?
That's what I was talking about there.
Oh, okay.
So like speech devices and stuff like that. Center for Accessibility Technology, they have a iPad loan program and other things that you can go on and just ask to loan for a while if you need it. The National Institute of Deaf and Other Communication Disorders. Gotta love that name. Their description of what is out there is comprehensive and pretty accurate. It's a good place to read through, then move on through their list of helpful organizations to reach out to, and we'll have that link also below. And then books, a lot of free books out there. You can apply for the National Library Services, and then for the blind and physically disabled. There's a Braille program and audio materials circulation to eligible borrowers in the United States by the it's a post-free mailing. My dad actually did that. He had macular degeneration of his eyes, and he could not read, but he loved reading old Western books and stuff like that. And my mom and him used to basically kind of like Audible, except they're a physical thing. They might have recently updated, I'm not sure, but they really enjoyed that service. There's also a book share. These are typically through your online libraries, and Learning Ally have audiobooks and learning tools. So the point of this sometimes is that just ask. If you're going somewhere and you can't afford it, or you want to get a little help from it, just go up and ask the organization and see if they have a disability discount for you.
A lot of these organizations or departments do not advertise their disability advantages, if you will.
Right.
They only respond to people who ask for them.
Right. So just don't feel bad about it. Just go out and, just go up to the organization and ask if you need some help. It's hard to do sometimes, though. We don't think of it.
So, Palmi, what else do we have to talk about?
I don't know. What's on your list?
Well, I wanted to talk a little housekeeping for there.
Okay.
Okay, one of these things that we have access to, that we give you as listeners access to, is what's called fan mail on our website. You can remain anonymous, tell us how we can improve, tell us what you enjoy. Perhaps you have some great ideas for future episodes.
So
we'd love to hear about them.
We've been doing some different ways of doing the podcast, where we basically give you information for you to research and stuff. And then we've been also just having conversations based on our life and stuff. So let us know which one you prefer. We can tell by the numbers, certain ones get higher ratings, but is that because the topic interests you, or is it because you prefer that type of podcast?
Or do we just suck you in by the interesting sounding titles?
There you go. You never know. So we're always trying to get better here. So
exactly.
But the whole point of this is to continue Kevin speaking so that he practices using his voice so it doesn't go away.
One last thing, I probably should tell you what the website address is. It's www.whenlifegivesyoulemons, all one word, .net.
Okay. Is that all we have for today?
I think so.
All right. Bye until next time.
Talk to you next time.
Just kidding about Antarctica and Big Ben. Just bad audio. We are always looking to improve the podcast, so if you want to hear a specific topic, have a differing opinion, want to add something to the conversation, drop us an email. Our contact information is listed on our website. It's www.whenlifegivesyoulemons.net. We have recently added a companion YouTube channel called Making the Lemonade. If you enjoy the podcast, continue your enjoyment by joining us on YouTube.